right.
Inquisitor. At your service. With an illuvion, Corypheus could cross into the Fade in the flesh.
Indeed. The Inquisitor can attest that these...
What happens when Corypheus enters the...
Why, he will gain his heart's desire and take... Or, and this is more likely, the lunatic will unleash forces that tear the world apart.
In Redcliffe, I saw the future Corypheus built. We can't...
'Twas always so, was it not? The madman...
Pardon me, but does this mean everything's lost?
Corypheus has a head start, no matter how...
We should gather our allies before... Can we wait for them? We should send our spies.
Without support from the soldiers, you'd lose...
Then what should we do?
For starters, we don't let Corypheus worry us to death. Imagine how embarrassing... Josephine, have our allies send scouts to meet us in the wilds. Liliana, your fastest... Together, we'll have enough spies to slow down Corypheus's army until Cullen's...
Such confidence. But the Arbor...
We'd be remiss to not take advantage of your knowledge, Lady Morrick.
'Tis why I came here. Although it is good.
Any further instructions, Inquisitor?
The Inquisition began as a handful of soldiers. Thanks to you, we're now a force that will topple a self-proclaimed god. I could ask for no finer counsel, no better guidance.
I speak for all of us when I answer. We could ask...
We'll hound Corypheus in the wilds before he...
Inquisitor.
How goes the battle, Captain?
The Red Templars fall beneath our blades, your worship. Commander Cullen says they're nearly finished. Our scouts saw Corypheus traveling towards an elven ruin to the north. We can clear you a path through his armies.
Do only what you must. We need enough people for a celebration when we get back to Skyhold.
We will not fail you, my lord, no matter what. Andraste guide you in.
I wonder, is it Andraste your soldiers invoke during battle, or does a more immediate name come to their lips?
Another way to let people down if I falter. Thank you for the reminder.
'Twas not I who raised an army of faithful to storm this land, Inquisitor. But I digress. If your scouts report accurately, I believe these ruins to be
Which is?
a place of worship out of elven legend. If Corypheus seeks it, then the... Let us hope we reach this temple before the entire forest.
Now that's a view. Get your blood going.
If the soldiers aren't careful with their fires, they'll do Corypheus's work for him.
Do you sense the magic crackling? Something more powerful than the Red Templars stirs.
Empress Celine's general. Just down the hill, Inquisitor. He wishes to join you in the line.
were Grey Wardens. They must be the last of those enslaved at Adamant.
Poor bastards. Corypheus has them dying by the dozen. Divine. The monsters are running, your worship.
There, ahead. An entire camp of Red Templars.
Look sharp. They've got archers on the wall.
Who were those elves? They didn't look Dalish.
It seems this temple of metal is not deserted after all.
Perhaps these creatures are the reason few return from the Arbor Wild.
That must be the Temple of Mythal.
I hear fighting ahead.
Namelana Sabanale.
They still think to fight us, Master.
These are but remnants. They will not keep us from the Well of Sorrows.
Well of Sorrows?
Be honored. Witness death at the hands of a new god.
It cannot be!
Across the bridge! Now!
At last, Mythal's sanctum. Let us proceed before Corypheus interferes.
If he's here for a mirror, why'd Corypheus say he wants a Well of Sorrows?
I am uncertain of what he referred to.
You're not certain. You said you knew what he was looking for.
Confidence can carry one only so far, it seems.
I suspected. I did not know. Yes, I was wrong. Does that please you? Whatever the Well of Sorrows might be, Corypheus seeks it, and thus you must keep it.
Let's find this well before Corypheus's people. I want to know how Corypheus returned to life. We saw him die.
And his life force passes on to any blighted creature, Darkspawn, or Grey Warden.
Then Corypheus cannot die. Destroy his body and he will assume another.
We'll find a way to stop him once we're done here.
'Tis strange. Archdemons possess the same ability, and still the Grey Wardens are able to slay them. Yet Corypheus, they locked away. Perhaps they knew he could do this, but not how. Yes?
Are you certain Corypheus is using the power of the Blight to make...
Perhaps you forget. I was in Ferelden during the How Corypheus gained the power to send his soul into blighted bodies. That is the
Will answering that question let us destroy...
Perhaps. I would suggest first dealing with the well. If Corypheus obtains it, any chance of success could be lost.
You've seen the elves here.
Indeed. 1, this is a group of Dalish separated from their brethren, cultists. 2, these are elves descended from the ancients having resided here. The second appears unlikely, but if true, implications are astounding.
Is that even possible?
With magic, and whatever the truth, the Guardians successfully kept the temple a secret. A more sensible question might be, why?
Do you know what this part of the temple...
The room we stand in is a vestibule. To those who knew it, perhaps this ritual was little more than a polite knock. These customs must have been as familiar to ancient elves as bowing to...
I find it difficult to picture you...
If we become so familiar, you can predict my manners. Nothing is lost by indulging in the occasional civilized conduct.
You said this Mythal was...
So one assumes. What is a god? The dread old gods were nothing more than dragons, after all. They rise as archdemons. Perhaps Mythal was a powerful elf, a ruler among her kind. History often plays story.
You admit lack of knowledge, and yet dismiss her so readily?
I do not dismiss her. I question her supposed divinity. One need not be a god to have value. Truthfully, I'm uncertain Mythal was even a single entity. The accounts are varied.
There are varied accounts of Mythal.
In most stories, Mythal rights wrongs while Let fly your voice to Mythal, deliverer of justice. Other, paint her as dark, vengeful. Pray to Mythal and she would smite your end.
More Dalish tales, I assume.
If you know more about this, Solus, speak.
The oldest accounts say Mythal was both of these, and neither. She was... That is all I will say. This is not a place to stir old stories.
Whatever the truth, all accounts of Mythal end the same. Exiled to beyond with her brethren.
What do you mean,
Tricked by the Dread Wolf, as all the elven gods were said to be, trapped in a land beyond the Fade. Many Dalish believe this is why the elves fell from grace, and they... Or perhaps they were simply rulers slain by Tevinter. Who can say?
Let's continue.
As you wish. I see the Red Templars have already encountered the Temple's Guardians.
Looks like an ambush. Impressive.
Yes?
Do you know what this part of the temple...
The room we stand in, to those who knew, these customs must have been as familiar to ancient...
I find it difficult to picture...
If we become so familiar, nothing is lost by it.
It's sealed.
Corypheus's lackeys managed to open it. Perhaps the altar holds a clue. Why would this be?
Something wrong.
It depicts the Dread Wolf, Fen Harel. In elven tales, he tricks their gods into sealing themselves away in the beyond for all time. Setting Fen Harel in Mythal's greatest sanctum is as blasphemous as painting Andraste naked in the chantry.
My clan set statues of the Dread Wolf outside our camp. They're meant to frighten harmful spirits.
Perhaps. I thought the ancient elves above quaint superstitions.
For all your knowledge, Lady Morrigan, you cannot resist giving legend the weight of history. The wise do not mistake one for the other.
Pray tell, what meaning does our elven expert sense lurking behind this?
None we can discern by staring at it.
You two look like you're about to kiss when you argue.
'Tis time we pressed forward.
Agreed.
It appears the temple's magics are still strong.
Ancient Elven. I can't make out much.
Atishol vir Abalasan. It means enter the path of the Well of Sorrows.
There is something about knowledge, respectful or pure. Shivenen. 'Tis all I can translate. That it mentions the well is a good omen.
At least we know the Well of Sorrows was important.
Supplicants to Mythal would have first paid obeisance.
So, good Andrastians, we offer a prayer to elven gods.
If need be, unless you wish to turn back. Let us see what awaits.
Hold them off!
Come on, we might catch them.
Hold a moment. While they rush ahead, this leads to our true destination. We should walk the petitioner's path as before.
You forget that army fighting for us out there? Longer we play around, the more Inquisition soldiers die. There's a hole. Jump in.
In this case, I must agree with the witch. This is ancient ground, deserving of our respect.
You see the urgency? We cannot find the Well of Sorrows unprepared.
We don't know what's behind those doors. They might have a reason for going another way.
Had they the option, they would have proceeded. That...
Their goal, or yours?
There is a... Legends walked Thedas once. Things of might and wonder. Corypheus would squander the ancient power of the well. I would have it restored.
I wasn't expecting your answer to be so...
Trust me, your surprise is met. Mankind blunders through the world, crushing what it does. We must stem the tide, or be left with nothing more than the mundane. I read more in the first chamber. It said a great boon is given to those who use the Well of Sorrows, but at a terrible price.
What exactly did that altar say about...
Like most elven writing, it was in... The term I deciphered was halam. It implies the loss of something personal for duty's sake, yet for those who served at this temple, a worthwhile trade.
What sort of curse should we brace ourselves for if we...
It would be easier by far to advise you of a curse. My priority is your cause, but if the opportunity arises to...
And gain what...
That is what we must discover. The rich... Will you abandon these rituals, Inquisitor? Think carefully. There is no return once we leap after the Templars. Time to proceed to the next ritual, I should think.
Is complete.
We are close. There is but one more path to follow.
Is lit.
Come, let us see if the doors have opened. Tis not what I expected. What was this chamber used for?
We're being watched.
Venavis. You are unlike the other invaders. You have the features of those who call themselves Elven. You bear the mark of magic, which is familiar. How has this come to pass? What is your connection to those who first disturbed our slumber?
They are my enemies, as well as yours.
I am called Abelas. We are sentinels, tasked with standing against those who trespass on sacred ground. We wake only to fight, to preserve this place. Our numbers diminish with each invasion. I know what you seek. Like all who have come before you.
The place of the Way of Sorrows.
It is not for you. It is not for any of you.
So you're elves from ancient time?
The Shemlin did not We Elven warred upon ourselves. By the time the doors to this sanctuary, we awaken only when called. And each time find the world, it is meaningless. We endure. The Vira Belisar.
What is this, Vira?
It is a path. One walked only.
He speaks of priests.
More than that, you need not know.
Our people have lost everything. They need you.
Our people? The ones we see in the... And you have invaded our sanctum as...
We knew this place was sacred. We've respected it as best...
I believe you. Trespassers you are, but you have followed rites of... If these others are enemies of yours, we will aid you in... When this is done, you shall be permitted to depart. And never return.
This is our goal, is it not? There is no reason to fight these sentinels.
Consider carefully. You must stop Corypheus, yes, but you may also need the well for your own.
I accept your offer.
You will be guided to those you seek. As for the Vira Belisan, it shall not be despoiled. Even if I must destroy it myself.
No!
This would be our guide.
Mytholanast.
That's helpful, since Morrigan chased off on her own.
She seeks to protect the Well of Sorrows.
This place looks untouched.
You have any idea how much this place is worth?
We did not come to cart off the last of elven glory.
I'm just saying.
Henshra, Gilas Velathan.
I believe she would prefer that we remain close.
Just a quick look around. The Sentinels are holding off the Red Templars.
Wir sumiel.